pride. That's the original sin. And it's the most dangerous because it's the sin. It's hard to detect. It's hard to detect. It's one of the hardest things for a person to detect. Sometimes a person can be prideful and it's hard to see it. In the Hebrew, it's which means in the picture graphic it's shown with a camel hump, which because the word camel in Hebrew or Aramaic, gimel, which means pride. Why? Because the camel, his head is high. Those are you saw a camel. So he walks with his head up. So that's why they get the word from the camel, meaning pride. So if you notice a person who is prideful, you always hear the term that they say they walk around with their head up a bit there. So there's the original of the word pride. Now, the reason why it's so dangerous, let me put this down a second. Let's go to the original, Ezekiel 28. Ezekiel 28. Ezekiel 28. The word is Gaha, pride. And it means above the head, to lift up. And it's the root word for the word gay, which means proud. That's why those people call themselves gay, because our word meaning proud or happy, so called. Now Ezekiel 28 verse 12 to 17, this is where it begins. Ezekiel.
Five, 56.
Okay, Ezekiel 28, verse 12 to 17. It's speaking of Hasatan, and it said, you were in Eden, or Eden, the garden of Elohim. Every precious stone was your covering, the ruby, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the shohan, the jasper, the sapphire, the turquoise, the emerald and gold. The workmanship of your settings and mountings were prepared for you on the day you were created. Verse 14, you were the anointed cherub that covered. Number one, Hasatan, as we know, it was not an angel. Many people always say an angel or a malach. An angel is an heavenly messenger. He was not an heavenly messenger. He was a cherub. They were different creatures. The Hebrew book, the Dead Sea Scroll, and the last books, they mention that he had 12 wings, while the malach had 6. He was specially made. Okay? So verse 14 again, you were the anointed cherub. The anointed, the word anointed, mashak, which means he was chosen, anointed by the Father for this purpose. And I placed you. You were in the set apart mountain of Elohim. You walked up and down in the middle of stones of fire. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created until unrighteousness was found in you. What unrighteousness? Let's see, verse 16. By the greatness of your trade, you became filled with violence within, and you sinned. So I chased you from the mountain of Elohim, and I destroyed you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. This is it now, verse 17. Your heart was lifted up because of your loveliness. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. I threw you to the earth. I laid you before sovereigns to lock you up, to look at you. Now, why is this important? Satan, as you know it, beautiful, big. Many Hebrew books say when he spread out his wing, it's radiance. And we're going to Isaiah 14 when we finish. And you see, another title, his original name was Elel Ben Bakar, meaning the shining one. He shined, okay? He was the thing. What happened as time went by, he started to become proud. He started to say, you know what? Instead of me worshiping, I need to be worshipped. I'm all that. So you know what? Father said, because of his iniquity, he was kicked down. Let's go to Isaiah 14. Yeshua 14, Isaiah 14. So you see where it started while you're finding that. It just started right there. Pride. Yeah, Isaiah 14 from 12 to 15. Page 424 was a good scripture. He said, how you have fallen from the Shemayim, the heaven, or LL. Now that word LL is two Hebrew words combined, shining one of hell, or shining one of the mighty one, LL. And he was called son of the morning. So what happened now, if you look in some of the King James, they'll put in that verse the word Lucifer. The reason why they put it, the Latin people who translate the scripture to the Vulgate, what they did, they changed the word LL to Lucifer, which means the same thing, light bearer. So that's why the Illuminati came from that term Lucifer, which are Satanists, meaning light bearers. He was son of the morning. You have been cut down to the ground, you who laid low to the Gentiles. For you have said in your heart, there he goes again, inside of the heart, pride. Let me go up to the Shemayim, let me raise my throne above the stars of hell, and let me sit in the mount of meeting on the sides of the north. Let me go up above the heights of the clouds, let me be like the Most High. So here's a cherub who got fame, was beautiful, splendid, get magnificent title as the shining one. But guess what happened? He started to say, you know what? I want to be more than this. I don't want to be below the Father. I want to be in level with the Father, the Almighty. I want to be like the boss. Yeah. Big and bad. So he did something which was impossible. He started to conspire with the other Malak to do a little rebellion. And like you know, in Revelation, tell Michael, kick him out. Not this Michael, but the Michael in the scripture.
Oh, okay.
If we also look, you don't have to go, you can write them down for the time being, but if you look at 2 Chronicles 32:26, it shows that King Hezekiah humbled himself before Yahweh after he found pride in his heart, he and the people, and because of that, Father spared Jerusalem, just because they humbled themselves with pride. That's why Yahweh said in the scripture, it is easier, no, not that one, when Yahweh said in the scripture, no one can enter into the kingdom unless they become like a little child. Why? Because a child is teachable. If somebody cannot be teachable, you can't teach them and they can't learn. And the reason why sometimes a person cannot be teachable is because of pride. Some people can't tell them not because they say, I have all the degree, and I have this and that. Who dare you to tell me anything? That is pride. And sometimes such one who is doing that, they can't detect it. Poor being. That's why I say pride is the most dangerous, because it's hard to detect. You know, and sometimes people tend to defend it and don't realize it's pride. And another danger with pride, it comes in many different levels. And a person is prideful and don't know. How many times you see sometimes people on the street, and you see in the back of their car, and the proud parent of such and such, my child is made honorable and proud, proud, proud. That is sin, but they don't know it. Okay? And we're going to come to that. In Job 33 verse 17, Job testified that Abba Yahweh may withdraw man from man's purpose and hide pride from man. Okay? He was testifying that Father could hide pride from man if we allow him to. Because with that pride, it comes between us and our Creator. In the same Job 35:17, men cry. They cry to the Father in prayer. But guess what? The scripture says, Father, don't hear the answer because of pride. We cannot pray to Father while we have pride. You go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, my brother, I want to say something to you. I get one of the sticker before. And what I look at it when I say, as you referring about pride. If a person is not worshipping something like Satan, because why Satan got kicked out? He want to become a worship. He wanted to become worship, not giving worship anymore. And if you say you have a child, you become an honor roll. And everywhere you go, you start talking about it and take somebody and show them the logo. Then you are taking the esteem of Father, will made your child to have that knowledge and make it become sin in your life now. Because now you are push out Father who giving these things to the environment where you dwell because he manifests it. So the sin not to come in, so that's where the pride is. Right. But if you're not talking about them and you just show it and you let it go and go on serving the true and one living creator, then the sin can't pop up in your house. Right.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, but the thing with the word pride and proud in the scripture, it mentioned hundreds of times, and every single time it's mentioned is something negative. There's not one positive thing with pride in the scripture. Because the pride, you know, is, if you look up the word, it means someone who is high and lifted up about self. You understand what I mean? So what he's saying, and I know what you're saying. The reason why it's so deadly, because like I said, some people, instead of they give the esteem to the Father, they give it to themselves as a child. That's why they become pride. So that's why during the scripture, and we're going to go through a few more. It comes in different radiants. Father wants people to give praises to Him and not to ourselves and to one another. That's why that word pride and proud always come together in the scripture as something negative. And as we go by, you're going to see different levels of it that sometimes we don't even detect. For example,
so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Moshe was a man, almost you can say, next to Satan, because Father said he was the most meekest man on the earth. And he was the man, the 5 first book of Moshe, the 5 first book of Torah is given to him.
Yes.
He wasn't lifted up in pride because what? He humbled like a little child. So the context of pride is about how you place yourself, knowing who give these things to you and the authority that you have. That is divine power is delivered into you to do these things.
At that point, it's not pride. I know what you're saying. Like Moses, he was humble, but he pointed everything to Father Yahweh. So that couldn't be a pride. The guy's not lifting up himself. Yeah, he was lifting up the Father. So the scripture would refer that as pride. That's why you never see pride behind his name. You understand? Because he gave the praises to the Father. But we live in a society today, you look all around. And I've seen it firsthand. I've seen people, we see it in every different walks of life. Even a sport figure. Somebody will come on the scene as a sport figure and they start to do well and they humble at first. And then everybody starts to say, guess what, man, you're the best. You're the greatest thing. After a while, guess what? You can't talk to them. You can't talk to me anymore. But from a humble beginning, so that's how we have to learn to control our emotion and give praises to the Father and not lift ourselves up too much, because that's what destroys a lot of people. And later on you'll see a scripture where it says pride goes before destruction. Okay? Anytime a person is going to fall, look at it, no matter how big the person reach. Anytime they're going to fall, you see pride chipping first. And they start to walk around like. That's why I personally, you never hear me call people mention people about class and creed and all them something like that. Those things are from Satan. Why they do they divide people? Because you tell a person that, oh, he's high class and he's low class. What are you telling the people? You're telling the person not to Israel. And then you're telling the person, oh, so-called, you know, that you're better than him. So he started to walk around with his nose up in the air, scarping. So he started to resent the poor man, and the poor man started to resent. So it's division. That's why if you notice the scripture doesn't mention anything like that. It's only two kind of people Father talk about. People who seek out Torah and people who reject Torah. Father don't put people in no kind of class. Because those things can lead to pride. You understand me? Pride is a very dangerous thing. Pride, of course. Yes, right.
If you keep your eye on the price, and you know who the price, how pride can come in your life. That's only the 3 things I'm asking this and let it.
No, but you can't call that when I ask. Because
so all right then, if you keep your eye, because this walk is not by you, or not by me, it's not by anyone, but one man, the giver of life. And if you keep your eyes, which the scripture tells us, in Jeremiah 17, verse 5 to 8, and in Jeremiah 17, verse 5 to 8, he said, blessed is the man who trusts in Yahweh.
yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's what we're saying.
And first, what I'm saying, and you keep your eye to him, that level to him, like I said, the camel keep his head up, that's why they fly. You keep your eyes up to the heavens, and know that is acknowledging in him. Because people sometimes assume people do brother, and you have to recognize this in people that as you talk about the rich class and the poor class, people categorize people in different sense. And we have to come to the knowledge and understanding that there are things that is common sometimes that people use it to call out things against people.
Like you said, in that context, it will be pride. That's what you're saying. If you're holding a thing that towards Father, and giving Father praises, the scripture will call that pride. Pride is when the person is lifted up and he has a selfish motive, like we say right in the scripture. Thinking about themselves. And just put themselves to yeah. Don't do that.
Whatever job we do today and whatever amount of money we make today,
that's very sensitive about pride. For example, another example. You also use this example and say, he that is humble will be lifted up. Who lift him up? The Father. So in that context, lift him up is good. But he that push himself or abuse himself or lift up himself, so you're going down. Yes, so there's nothing wrong with lifting up as long as Father doing it and he's getting the glory. But that's the difference between that kind of lift up and pride. You know? Because pride is that. Huh? I was going to okay. In the book of Obadiah, 1 verse 2, it talks of pride in one's heart. It's a very deceptive thing. When somebody has pride in their heart, they're automatically deceived. Did you know that? When a person has pride in their heart, they're deceived. The reason why is because they will not take correction. And if a person cannot take correction, they cannot take correction. And pride is, pride has so many failures to it, it's unbelievable. Pride will make us, we will fall in off a cliff. And somebody said, brother, if you fall off a cliff, but I said, you don't know anything, you can't talk to me. Boy, you can talk to me, you don't know anything. So even having knowledge and knowledge, if you have a person, try to look at the reason properly. You know what I mean? Alright. Zephaniah 2 verse 11, sorry, Zephaniah 2:10. So, Zephaniah 2:11, he said, Abba promised his people, he will take away out of the midst of the people that will try to be a pride, and they shall no more be artists. Here we go again. When a person or a people is lifted up too much, Father will bring them down. There's something about pride. Right in the scripture, it's always negative, because what it does, it brings forth evil intent. Psalms 10 verse 2. It says, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. You know? A lot of us live in this world to see where those who are fragments of the world and how they are, what they do to the poor. And they feel that they're better. That's pride. Pride will allow them to forgive and show mercy. Okay? Also, Hebrews 10 verse 4, it says, the wicked see pride as a countenance, do not see after human pride. Because pride, when a person is lifted up and pride, they have no time for the Father. Pride is all about me, myself, and I. So the scripture says that person who is loaded with pride, they have no time, no meditation from the Father. Because it's all about me, myself, and I. Okay? That's totally opposite of Tehillim Psalms 1 where it says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the wicked, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law or the Torah of Yahweh. And in his Torah doth he meditate day and night. So the man of Yah who does not carry pride around in his heart, he meditates on the word of Yah. The man with pride has no time for the word of Yah. It's totally opposite. It's about him and what he can get. Okay? There are people who worship with pride. What kind of worship is that? How many times you hear this? Give something and Father will give it back to you. That's not the reason why we should give. We should give to somebody not because we expect Father to give us back something. We give to somebody because of mercy and compassion. Like, I remember when I went to a congregation years ago, and the rabbi said, because sometimes we can have good intention, but go about it the wrong way. I understand his intent, you know, it's not judgmental of the brother. But behind it was something to say. He said, everybody who give, make sure you write it on the note that you can get it back in your taxes. I understand his intent. But guess what? If I'm giving something to a congregation, I'm not looking back for anything. Exactly. That's not pure giving. In other words, when we give something for a motive, it becomes selfish. It becomes pride. And that's where it becomes wrong. If we are doing something for a brother or sister and we are look back something why we are doing it, that's not giving, that's business.
It's a competition thing, like I don't want to try.
Okay.
Yeah, me all try out give me a break and write a big check. So you can meet such a check.
Exactly. In Psalms 36:11, the psalmist in wisdom said, Psalms 36:11, the psalmist in wisdom said, when he prayed, he said, Father, let not the foot of pride come against me, and let not the hand of the wicked remove me. Yeah? Pray that pride has protected him from pride. Okay? And from the pride alone. Okay? Psalm 59:12. It's a cursing and lying. It's a form of pride. first thing I learned is a form of pride. Guess why? Because sometimes instead of we take correction, we lie. How many of us, and we all guilty of this one time in our life or the other, we do something wrong, and instead of we take correction, we look for an excuse.
Of course.
We say, yeah, the reason I did that is because he or she did that. So we find an excuse. That's pride. We don't want to take correction, so we just point the blame on somebody else. It's easier. It started in the garden. Father said to Adam, what is this you're doing, brethren? I'm just paraphrasing. Adam said, it's not me, it's the woman. Not the woman, but the one you gave me. Adam, what Father? Adam saying to Father, in other words, this is what we're going through your fault. He's literally saying. He says the woman, not just the woman, the one what you gave me. Okay? When he went to the woman said, really, boss? It's really the serpent, you know. And then when we went to the serpent, so we had nobody to blame, we have to take it. So everybody has point, and it's just in our nature ever since. You know? It's in our nature to always say, you know, find an excuse what we did. Instead of sometimes we just say, yeah, I did wrong, yeah, I'm sorry, forgive me. Let me try not to move on. Pride stops us from doing that. Okay? Because sometimes we don't want to admit that we're wrong. Am I right, my brother?
Let me ask a question. In all things you admit say you're wrong?
Huh?
In all things, in all things, in all your ways since walking with Father.